or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to have a look at the next main Pokemon TCG set. You see, we know that Temporal Forces is coming soon. I'm showing you the reveals as we go. And when new big cards are revealed, I show them to you. I'm basically showing you everything you need to know about Temporal Forces. I'm nice like that. But that's Scarlet and Violet 5. What about Scarlet and Violet 6? Now, I'm going to tell you straight off the bat. In terms of concrete information, we have very little. However, Funtainment-B2B.D, a German distributor, has gone and listed it with a release date of the 24th of May. Now, I need to make this super duper clear, alright? We don't know for certain this is correct. This is a distributor listing. It tends to be correct for what it's worth, these distributor listings, but this is unconfirmed information, but it is out there in public, posted on distributor websites, so we need to have a little bit of a chat about it. And actually, this release date tells us a couple of very important things. You see, traditionally, with the Pokemon TCG, what we have had is we have had a set every 3 months, and traditionally, they would be in February, May, August, November. That is generally the way things tend to go, but with the advent of Scarlet and Violet, things got a little bit messed up. So, Scarlet and Violet Base, Scarlet and Violet 1, actually didn't release in February. It released in March, which was a little bit awkward. It released on March the 31st, so it only just made it into March. But we looked at that and we went, well, you know what? That's the first Scarlet and Violet set. There are reasons why you would delay that one. It's understandable. Let's move on. And then we got into a nice regular rhythm, because Paldea Evolved came out in June. Now, admittedly, that was a little bit late, but June the 9th's basically May. We can forgive that. But then we had Obsidian Flames in August and Paradox Rift in November, and we're like, oh, cool, we're back. And incidentally, I've made this point many times before, but let me make it again one more time now. Release dates of other sets might change around here and there. You will not see the November set changing. The November set will not change. The November set is going to be November. Because essentially that's the Christmas set. People start shopping for Christmas in November and go through December. You can't push that set to like mid-December. You just can't do it. The shopping is too important in the US and Europe. So, yeah, the November set is going to stick. But then we went to Temporal Forces and all of a sudden we're back in March. March the 22nd. It's out next month. And that's a little bit weird. Because like I say, with Scarlet and Violet Base, you can look at that and go, okay, yeah, fine. We get that. We understand why that's a little bit late. But Temporal Forces? Really? That is a weird one. Now, one theory, and to be perfectly clear, this is just a theory, but one theory here is make it legal for EUIC. Of course, we know that these sets become legal 2 weeks after they're released. So with a set releasing on March the 22nd, it's legal for the first time on April the 5th, which is, of course, day one of EUIC, which is also the day the rotation hits, and actually that does make EUIC a lot more exciting. So maybe that's the reason. Whatever the reason, unlike last year where we had a June set and then got back into it, we're getting back into it quickly. Scarlet and Violet 6 is going to be our May set, and then 7 can be our August set, and 8 can be our November set. Obviously, none of that, we don't even have distributor listings or anything like that yet, but we don't really need them. This is the way Pokemon tends to operate. Sometimes it takes a little bit of a while to get back on track. That is clearly not the case here. But remember how I just said that Temporal Forces is legal for the first time at the European International Championships? Well, we've got the same thing going on with the North American International Championships. Because you see, we have a date for them. We've had a date for a while, and the North American International Championships is happening in New Orleans from June the 7th to June the 9th. This is not news, we've known about this for a while. Gee whiz, anyone want to guess what is exactly 2 weeks before June the 7th? It's May the 24th. Oh, would you look at that? And I can't say whether this is deliberate or not, but this is starting to seem pretty gosh darn coincidental, no? The fact that all of a sudden we've got Temporal Forces legal for the first time at EUIC, and now we've got whatever Scarlet and Violet 6 is legal for the first time for NAIC. And look, as somebody who casts the game and follows the game and analyses the game, etc., it is so much more fun when we've got a new format for an international championship. I was casting EUIC last year, where we had Scarlet and Violet base plus rotation, and it was amazing. We could be, well, it looks like we're seeing a similar thing here. Again, this has been posted on a distributor website. It is not confirmed. This would be awesome. I would love this. This would make it fun. I've never been to NAIC, which is a little bit sad, but you know what I do every single year? I watch NAIC from home. And you know what would make watching NAIC way more fun? A new set being legal for the first time at NAIC. Just putting that out there. That would make it way more fun. Are Pokemon going to keep doing this? I mean, look, there's only so much they can do. Because, and look, I have nothing whatsoever to do with booking internationals. Nor do I have any insider information. But as I mentioned 1 million times, I did used to teach business, so I can tell you that these dates rely on a lot of different factors, like venue availability, hotel availability, etc., etc. So I think Pokemon are clearly planning this to be the case, but I also think that it is, shall we say, not guaranteed they're going to be able to do this every time. It also means that the Temporal Forces meta is going to be quite short. Pretty much exactly 2 months. EUIC on April the 5th, we start the Temporal Forces meta, that being the most recent set that's legal. But then 2 months and 2 days later on June the 7th, we get to NAIC and we introduce Scarlet and Violet 6. So the Temporal Forces meta has literally 2 months to run, and that's it. That is short, shall we say. Especially when you consider the fact that the Paradox Rift meta has been going on for ages. It became legal on November the 17th, which means that we actually get 5 months, pretty much, of the Paradox Rift meta, and then 2 months of Temporal Forces. But again, this is what happens when we end up with a March set rather than a February set. This is inevitable. And yes, before anybody mentions it, we did get Paldean Fates, so technically it's not been the exact same format the whole time. I casted Dortmund Regionals this past weekend, and that was the first day that Paldean Fates was legal. There were like 3 tech cards that saw a bit of play. Like, one of the 3 cards that sees the most play in that set is Charmeleon, which should basically tell you everything you need to know about that set. It's a cool set, don't get me wrong, but I mean, in terms of playability, yeah, it's not great. So it didn't really impact the metagame at all. What is Scarlet and Violet 6 going to consist of? Well, again, this is all supposition on my part, but I've been doing this long enough to feel pretty good. We're going to actually have, we assume, 2 sets mashed in together. Because Japan is getting, on March the 22nd, Crimson Haze. I might make a video about this later in the week, I might not, we'll see how much time I've got. But that's being revealed at the weekend. I feel 100% confident about that. And yes, at the weekend I will show you everything I need to know like I do every time. And then we've got Mask of Change, which is due for release on April the 26th. So, in Japan's parlance, Crimson Haze would be Scarlet and Violet 5A, and then Mask of Change would be Scarlet and Violet 6. But we know that we get the main set from Japan, plus the previous mini set where applicable. Obviously, Paldean Fates was the Japanese mini set in English, therefore that wasn't there to be put into Temporal Forces, but it seems like we got Crimson Haze and Mask of Change. And whereas some sets we look at it and we go, oh, I don't know, that's hard to figure out, these ones aren't. Crimson Haze is going to be the Blood Moon Ursa Luna set. And again, I can't tell you for actual certainty it's going to be the Blood Moon Ursaluna set, but come on, Crimson Haze. And Blood Moon Ursaluna is exactly the kind of Pokemon that wouldn't get a main set, but would absolutely be the feature Pokemon in a mini set. So I feel very confident about that prediction. We'll find out at the weekend if I was right. And Mask of Change, it's blatantly the Ogerpon set. Like, Ogerpon is literally a Pokemon that has multiple masks and changes masks to basically change form. I mean, come on. That's pretty much one of the most obvious set names we've ever had. That's right up there with Eevee Heroes as a set name for how easy it is to figure out what the set's about. So, we actually know quite a bit just from this release date. We know it's going to be legal for the first time at NAIC, assuming, of course, the date is correct and is listed on a distributor website in public, but it's not confirmed. It won't be until it's officially announced by Pokemon. But we know it's going to be legal for the first time at NAIC. We know Pokemon are getting back to the usual May, August, November release much quicker than they did last year, which is very relevant. And although this isn't action news, because I've told you this before, I'm telling you that Scarlet and Violet 6, it's going to be Crimson Haze and Mask of Change in Japan, which means it's going to be Blood Moon Ursaluna and Ogerpon. There we go. That's what you need to know. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me how excited you are for this set, or whether you're just waiting for Temporal Forces and you'll deal with whatever this is later. Tell me how excited you are. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk Pokemon and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely James Siapinski, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.